Well, welcome back.
Well, okay, guys. Once again, we recorded, and once again, we cannot use the film. And it was a great show. It was full of energy, full of life. And now here we are, actually dressed in the exact same outfits that we were earlier.
We look the same, but our background looks different. Man,
God,
so
that was a good show. For once
that was a
again, it's
good
canceled
show.
again.
It was a good show, and it was actually pretty quick. It was like an hour and 20 minutes instead of like 2 hours. It was pretty good. The producer we hired to come in studio with us sat there for the whole show, and then afterwards, we went to export it. And I looked, and because I had to record a little audio clip of you, and when I looked, I clicked on the microphone. The microphone still said Mac, and I was like, Cole, did you switch the audio from the mixer to the Mac? And he's like, huh? I was like, oh boy. And we didn't even need to check it based on the response. We know, Cole, you're fired. Sorry you had to hear it this way, but you're fired. Actually, we're gonna hire you back just so we can fire you again. So,
That's an old Gucci Mane lyric.
is it?
Fuck that dude, kill that dude, bring him back, kill him again.
Well, since you're dropping F-bombs this early in the show, I don't think Google will monetize us.
I don't need their money. I'm rich.
The $12 that Google sends us a month in Google monetization.
Now,
Come
I
on.
was not equipped for a home one. You can see. So in studio looks sick. I got this shirt. I got matching shorts. Like the outfit is good. It cost me a fortune. And now I have this horrible background. My teeth look yellow. They match the background. You got children.
I've got a
I got
child.
dogs and puppies and girlfriends. And it's a whole mess that we got going on here.
Yeah. I don't even know. Why isn't he in bed? It's like 2 a.m. right now. I have a child behind me. So,
He
I
just
mean,
came
it
home
was,
from the bar.
yeah. We're gonna have to, wake up early. He's gonna be hungover, trying to go to school. Like, man, it was a good one. I mean, it'd been a few weeks. We did, Cole was out. You did a solo show. I did a solo show. We had a week off. Here we are. We're back. We go and do it. I'm leaving this week for Miami. Kelvin's fighting in Miami, and then completely botched the whole bit. So.
Well, you guys get second energy on this. We call it second energy. We came, we gave everything we had. We went out on our shields in the first one, and now
we gave
we're
first energy.
This one, yeah. Now we got second energy, and it's not the same.
It's not the same. So we're gonna fly through these. You guys probably like them better because we just fly through it and we don't BS as much. Before we get to this card, you guys, please, if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, please follow the show. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, hit subscribe and share and all that good stuff. Like us, and then come check us out on Discord. We were talking about that earlier. Discord has actually been fun lately. We've had some people we had to kick out because they're weird, and we don't want weirdo. We've told you guys, come to the Discord, come hang out, do all the stuff. Don't be weird. That's the one thing you have to do is not be weird. That's the only requirement is don't be weird.
Well, we're speaking on a specific situation, and not only don't be weird, but don't leave guns blazing, like going crazy, and then plagiarize everything that we're doing. Honestly, it just looks sad because it's never going to be the same as what we've built. Luckily, we've had you, we've had me, we've had a lot of good, pillars of our community that have built that Discord, and it's a really good place. Like everyone who's new, they go, "Hey, look, this Discord is a really good place. It's never had a culture like this before, and we want to keep it that way. I don't care if you bring value. If you're being a dickhead, we don't want you. You can take it elsewhere."
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you even see the way we respond to comments on YouTube. Like we're respectful with them. We don't go full hand. It's like there's so much negativity. We certainly don't need it on. At all, and we're not going to handle it on the Discord. So see ya.
I shouldn't have to be stressed out to go on my own Discord. Like everything that you and I have built, I shouldn't be stressed out to go there. So nobody else should either.
Yep. So if you're an asshole, you're gone. Other than that, I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's get in this. We have Kay Hansen. We got Sam Hughes. With Jaqueline, how do you say this last name? Amorim? Amorim?
Amorim.
I feel like they misspelled their own name. Like somebody like
It
it was
should be
supposed to be.
French.
Yeah, it should be like there should
Amorim.
be an accent and ha ha ha. Anyway, all right. So we got Jaqueline, Amorim, and Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes's best attribute is that she won't die. She's got good cardio. Her stand up is just follow people, chase them around. There doesn't really seem to be a rhyme or reason of anything that she does. She presses people, flanks right all the time, as Saif Zaud always yells. And then really the only thing that she does, I would say really well, is she knows to get back up to her feet if she gets taken down, which she gets taken down so easily. And Jaqueline, the thing with her is we just don't know a lot about her. Everything ends. I think the longest fight she has like 4.5 minutes or something like that. Oh man. So this is what we're doing these days. Anyway, so I mean, I like Jaqueline. She's got, from what I've seen, she has good speed. She's not an amazing striker, but she's long. She throws hard. She does the right stuff. Her jiu-jitsu is good. Top game is good. We haven't seen a lot of her. Her wrestling's not great, but it's serviceable. And Sam Hughes' wrestling is pretty bad. So I like Amorim here. And I think, now I guess the only thing that I'm curious about is she finishes all of her fights, but Sam Hughes won't die. So does it go to a decision or does it go, does it finish early?
All
So
right,
I like
Chatty
Amorim
Cathy,
here.
wrap it up.
I'm done.
Sam Hughes, the way she was falling over from Pereira's awful shots was not a good look. And Amorim can't wrestle, but she could probably wrestle as well as Pereira. But the big difference is her jiu-jitsu is 10 times the level of where Pereira is. She's going to snatch that back. The way that her hips move, her jiu-jitsu is actually legitimately very, very good. I'm looking at her going, man, very nice, very nice. This is a setup spot for her. And I had this whole theory, guys, in the first episode about this love triangle with her lesbian lover, Estela Nunes, and her getting payback. So that's still my theory. She's getting payback for her lover, her lesbian lover, Estela Nunes, and Amorim inside the distance. Here it is.
Inside the distance. Okay. Interesting. Only other thing we'll say on that is we talked about the Jillian Robertson Pereira matchup coming up. And that's next week, you guys. And I think Robertson is still probably a dog on that, plus 160, something like that. So I would say if I think that's probably a good line. I think that line will probably move. If you like that, we haven't watched a ton of film. I haven't watched a ton of film on it, but I like those odds for Robertson right there. So, all right, next up we have Steve Garcia, Shayilan Nuerdanbieke, the other side of the dive fight with Derek Minner.
Shamalama Ding Dong. Yeah, that fight was crazy fixed. I didn't get to watch that until today. That was so insane. He pretended he broke his foot and then immediately threw another kick to follow up. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. All right, we're gonna keep these short, guys. I'm sorry, we're giving you second energy. I like Shayilan here. I earlier I was like, is there any way that Steve Garcia could win? And honestly, I could see a way that he does win this fight. But he just fights guns blazing, crazy style. And I think half the fight's going to be Shayilan trying to neutralize him, just trying to slow him down. One thing I think you can count on is that someone's going to go out. Steve Garcia is going to go out on a shield one way or the other. I do like Shayilan. I think he's powerful. One thing he did was he was dropping TJ Brown in that fight in the first round. He's got those short little arms, but he's strong as strong as can be. So I think his punches are going to get there before Steve Garcia's really long punches. Garcia's chin has been tested every single fight that we've ever seen, where Shayilan's, granite chin, at least what he's shown so far. So for me, I'm going to go with Shayilan inside the distance here.
Yeah, I mean, Shayilan does everything good. He doesn't do anything great. He's not amazing anywhere, but he definitely does everything good. And, he has his hands up, moves side to side well, but his hands do drop in the middle of the round, almost in the middle of every single round, which usually you see hands drop and people get tired throughout the fight and it kind of levels out. He's like, every round is its own fight. He's like, hands up, does all the right stuff. 2.5, 3 minutes in, he's like looking sloppy, hands are down, kind of flopping around. The very next round, rinse, repeat. His striking's good. I think those little arms are going to hurt him against Steve Garcia, who's 6 feet. I think he's 6 feet, 6'1". And but he's fine everywhere. But I think the best thing that Shayilan does is he finds his way on top. Like he'll end up getting taken down, get on top. He'll get a takedown, they scramble, hit a switch, somebody does a cartwheel, and Shayilan's on top. So I like that, but I don't think his wrestling. I mean, now we saw that Culibao is a lot better than I think a lot of us thought in a lot of areas, and when we first saw him. But I mean, Shayilan, what the hell is his name?
Shamalama ding dong.
Yeah, he couldn't take him down. He couldn't take him down. He couldn't hold him down. I think he might have gotten him down once in that fight, and out of like 5,000 attempts. So I actually like Garcia here for the upset as a dog. I think he's big. We know he has good cardio. His chin is not great, and his chin has definitely been tested, but it's being tested against these really, really good guys. Violent Bob Ross didn't want to stand with him. Violent Bob Ross was taking him down, holding him, wrapping him up. I don't think Shayilan is going to be able to do that as well. And I think that if Garcia doesn't get the finish somehow, that I think he is just so crazy and wild and active that I think he will win a decision just by being batshit. So I like Garcia here, and that's probably the only time I'll ever say I like Garcia for a win anywhere.
And it should be the last time. All right, next up we got Trey Ogden and Ignacio Bahamondes.
Give us the goods. Bless thee. Or am I up?
You're up.
Okay, yep. I'm up. So Trey Ogden's coming in. Who is Ignacio supposed to fight? He was supposed to fight Nicholas Mota. And actually, this card is... of course, Kelvin is on this card, but originally Henry was on this card. Cejudo was supposed to be fighting Aljamain on this card, and then they moved it, which I'm actually mad that they moved it for a couple reasons, but, mainly just it's a huge card, and pay-per-view points are a thing, people. And this one was going to get a lot more pay-per-view points than moving them to the main event in Jersey on May 6th. But anyway, beside the point. Ignacio's good, man. He does a little right stuff. He's tall. He's 6'3". I don't know that his takedown defense is great, but he does that. I'm really tall, and I'm going to make it hard for you to take me down by kind of being weird and awkward. And his jiu-jitsu isn't, again, he's not a world champion IBJJF jiu-jitsu guy, but when people shoot, he attacks the neck well, doesn't jump guard, uses it defensively. I like Ignacio here, and I think Trey Ogden, everyone's still on Trey Ogden for the Daniel Zellhuber win. But I think a lot of that was more Zellhuber kind of shit the bed more than Trey Ogden looked great. So I like Ignacio here for the win. Yeah, that's what I got.
Bahamondes, I think, is going to blow him out of the water. This fight, like we said, is going to be what we thought the Zellhuber fight was supposed to be. So now we're going to get this here. I already have a play on Bahamondes. I got it like minus 280 to win $1,000. I like it. We got some points already on this one. Nice little play.
Yeah, I think that's a solid one. Next up, we have Cynthia Calvillo and Lupita Godinez.
What the hell is going on? Can you hear that?
No, I hear nothing.
Good. There, like, my neighborhood is really nice. It's weird. I moved in, and everyone thinks I'm a drug dealer because, obviously I won the money, and then I bought a house, bought a car, all's good. And then I've been not like working a lot. I'm just home all day. So they're seeing this like young kid in this like nice house, and they're like all old. This is their retirement house. They've saved their whole life for these places. And I'm this young kid who like never goes to work. That's just like chilling all day playing basketball. It's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So, but everyone's doing projects at night. Someone's got a saw out right now. All right.
We're in Arizona.
I got no HOA. No, it's the Wild West.
Turn your game. Turn your mic down. Turn your mic down a little. You're like screaming over here.
Okay.
If you guys, it's better. Man, you almost killed me earlier. You son of a bitch.
I did one of those on purpose.
All right, now turn it up a little bit. Yeah, now it's a little too low.
We cannot get this.
Let's go right in the middle, Brandon. Right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Good?
That's perfect. It's like the porridge you want to eat.
All right.
All right, Loopy.
Anyways, Lupi and Cynthia. Okay, so we chatted about this one a little bit earlier. There's a lot of factors at play here. I think if Lupi didn't have such a poor showing against Angie Hill, she's going to be -3, -4, -500 in this spot here, right? You see Cynthia Calvillo, she's moving back down a weight class to a weight that she already had trouble making. She looked horrible in the Angela Lee fight. She was quitting on the stool. She didn't want to be in there. Everyone questioned her motivation going into the next fight. She went to a split decision. She didn't look the worst. Now, I think she's not bad. She's very flowy. Her striking is very fluid, and she rolls, she moves, she parries, she fires back. She's just kind of mobile. She kind of does everything decent. And on the other end of things, you got Lupi Godinez, who's very rigid. It's in and out, big punches, back out, in and out, back, big punches, back out. She's not as fluid. She's not going to put together a 6-piece combo like Cynthia could do, right? But she has the wrestling edge. I just think that these are two girls at two different stages in their careers. Lupi, I think, is on the up and up. She went into that fight injured, and she had a bad hip. And honestly, it was pretty bad stylistic matchup with Angie Hill. Cynthia Calvillo's looked like she's wanted to be done for a while, and now she's moving back down a weight. I don't think that ever goes well. I think this is a tee-up spot for Lupi to get back on track here, who legitimately can wrestle her ass off. She makes bad mistakes with the jiu-jitsu constantly, constant horrible decisions with jiu-jitsu, but I think she's athletic enough and just a brute enough to get the W here.
How old? I want to look. I'm looking. Lupi's 29. She's 8-3.
Lupi Godinez, friend of the show.
And Cynthia's 35. Sorry, I just want to see that because that matters here because, like, yeah, is Cynthia done? Does she want to be in there? Is she getting paychecks or does she actually want to win? And I think Lupi still wants to win. I think Cynthia is probably better than her in a lot of areas. I think her striking, I think she's more fluid. She's got maybe even a little bit of a better fight IQ just in terms of things. But I think Lupi is going to be in there and throw big bombs. And I think Cynthia is probably going to win round 1. And then I think Lupi is going to come on strong around 2 and round 3 by just pressuring and being in her face and just wanting to actually win a fight instead of like trying to touch and move and be technical. And that's what you do. Cynthia's going to try and be a little more technical vet, and Lupi needs to just get in her face and just bomb at her and make her uncomfortable. And I think Lupi's going to do that with the big punches and the pressure and the shots and pushing her up against a cage. I think Lupi's going to have enough hate in her heart to get the win.
Her hands are really good. I really think her hands are good. She's powerful. She's a clean boxer.
The only thing, she doesn't have great volume, which is a thing with women, but I don't think that's going to matter here.
Yeah. All right. Next up,
Karl
Williams,
the people's main event. Karl Williams, Sherman. Man, these are two bad fighters. We talked about. So Karl Williams 8-1. Who did we see the other day that I actually said on the podcast? I said he's the single worst good fighter to beat good people, and he's horrible. Patterson. Oh my gosh. Karl Williams is similar to Patterson, but I don't know if he's as bad as him or if he just has worse cardio than him. But anyway, Karl Williams, I mean, is going to get takedowns. He's going to get takedowns. Then he's going to death gas while he's trying to get takedowns. And then Sherman, who definitely has better cardio than Karl Williams, is going to get taken down repeatedly. And then it's just, can he get up and get the finish? You made a good case for this earlier. Made me second question some things. But I just, in honestly, I could absolutely see Sherman winning this fight and getting, they're tired. They get back up middle of the second round, third round, Sherman clips him and goes. But I can't for the life of me get behind the fact that I think he's 4-10 in the UFC. He has 10 losses in the UFC. I think Karl Williams, I don't think he's bad. I think his stand-up is decent. He throws heavy. He gets takedowns. He death gasses like crazy. I wonder how much of that is actually cardio and how much of that is actually adrenaline in the situation. But I've got to assume the guy with the better wrestling is going to win against a guy that we've seen lose so many freaking times. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't put money on either of these guys. I think I lean Williams for the win, but it would not surprise me to see this flip the other way. But I lean Williams on this.
I sure as shit wouldn't put money on Williams at this price. That's crazy to me.
What's he at again? I know you mentioned it earlier.
Well, I don't know what he is. Let's see. I got it actually up here. He's minus 480 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can never get behind him. So I went out on my shield making a case for Chase Sherman. I'm going to do a little bit of the same here. Carl Williams fought Lucas Bresky, and he fought Jimmy Lawson. Jimmy Lawson doesn't even train. He doesn't train. He kind of just shows up for the week of the fight and then goes out and fights, and you could tell he didn't want to be in there. Penn State wrestler, yada, 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 whatever. Carl just moves a lot better than Jimmy Lawson. Jimmy Lawson's fat and has no cardio. I mean, that is what it is. Then you fight Lucas Bresky, who Bresky is one of the worst guys that I've ever seen in the UFC. Like his cardio, he's got 2 minutes of cardio. That's less than the other guys that you have notoriously bad cardio. He's awful get-ups. He's got just so many holes in his game. And Bresky was standing up on Carl Williams every single time. He went to decision. He was death gassed, and Carl Williams is just as tired as he is. Now, everyone wants to point to the fact, yeah, he fought through it. He fought through it. Fine. He fought through it. It's pretty easy to fight through your cardio failures when the other guy that you're fighting is zero danger because he's about to have cardiac arrest, right? It's really easy to fight through that. Trust me. You see a guy who's dead in the water, it's pretty easy just to dive at him and pray you get a takedown. I think Chase Sherman is a step above Lucas Bresky. You know, Chase Sherman gets a lot of hate and a lot of vitriol from the community, but he's at Kill Cliff, so he's going to have Henry Hooft. He's been improving his striking. He's a decent striker. He's fine. Doesn't have the greatest cardio, doesn't have the greatest takedown defense, but we have seen him go 3 rounds, and we've seen him go 3 rounds with good guys before. The Arlovsky fight was close. Like, he's been in there with good guys. He's definitely a lot more seasoned than Carl Williams. He was already preparing for a fight, and Carl Williams just won a fight. I can tell you as a fighter, and you the same thing, and most guys, you don't go right back to the gym Monday morning after you have your first UFC win. Like, you're out partying, you hang out, you eat whatever you want to eat because you cut weight.
Buy a couple gold chains.
Buy a couple gold chains. It is what it is. Like, you're going to celebrate. He wasn't training hard with a fight in mind, and now he got a short notice opportunity. So I played Chase Sherman at plus 410 here. I'll be happy to take the gamble.
Yeah, I don't think that's the worst bet you could make, especially at those odds. But, man, I just wish Sherman he's one of those guys who he kind of reminds me of TJ Brown. We've talked about that. And he's not as good as TJ Brown, but like TJ Brown is Kyle Bochniak, but TJ Brown is legitimately pretty good and just has really bad fight IQ, just does some dumb shit. And I think Sherman is not as bad as his record shows and as much as people hate on him, but gosh, there are just some glaring holes in that dude. So it's funny to see that at this level. All right, that's all I got. Moving on. We got Gerald, Meerschaert, and Joseph Pyfer. What do we got, Brandon? We got funnies over there.
Oh, my girlfriend's wearing glasses. Weird.
All right.
Anyways, yeah, we got Big Daddy Pyfer.
We got Pyfer, but we got to talk about Meerschaert first because Meerschaert, like, man, that dude hit the lotto with the Bruno Silva that showed up in that last fight. Because, man, that was there since we've been doing the show. Is that the biggest upset? That one or Tagir? What do you think is a bigger? I can't believe that happened.
Reference to the betting lines, or just like how much money we had invested and how confident we were?
Well, yeah, just how confident we were, like how off we were, like the biggest shock of these things.
Well, we've been through the Troy mill a few times.
Oh, Troy has had our hearts.
We're like, man, this is a lock. Mason Jones. We're like, lock.
Mason Jones. Yep, Mason Jones. Troy.
Tagir, yeah, for
sure. Tagir was a bad one. Yeah. Anyway, but so was Bruno Silva. So Bruno Silva was supposed to win that fight, and it's funny. I rewatched the fight, and like round 1, he didn't look like something was off. He just didn't look good. He was just plodding forward without jabbing, and he would just throw one big punch. Meerschaert would back up, and he would get countered right there. And we said this about Trey Ogden. Meerschaert didn't look great against Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva looked bad against Meerschaert, and that's kind of Trey Ogden. I thought Trey Ogden definitely looked better than I thought he would, but he didn't look amazing. Just Zellhuber looked horrible, and I think that's the situation here. Pyfer goes forward. He's big. He's strong. He's with the Philly boys, with Sean Brady and them out, over at Daniel Gracie's. And more than anything is he jabs. He throws a jab as he's moving forward, and that's going to disrupt Meerschaert's ability to kind of pull him back up and counter. The only thing I don't like that Pyfer does is we saw him in Ozzy where he had his back. He got a little too eager, slid off the top, and was on his back. And then from there, when he got up, and he did get up, but he left his neck out. And I think like a guy like Meerschaert, you've got to be a little bit more careful. You've got to put your head on the cage. You've got to control that situation. Against a guy like Ozzy, you can mess around a little bit. I love Pyfer here. I like him for the win, but he can't do dumb shit. He can't get overconfident and go, oh, I'm good here. I'm me. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I'm whatever. And give Meerschaert the ability to fight in a position that he shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, I don't really see a way that Meerschaert wins, but I've also said that on every Meerschaert fight ever. I have Pyfer. I took to win $1,000. I put him at -178. He's -190 now. I still think that's a pretty big gift. I just think he's better in every area. Like you said, he jabs, which is like the lost art of MMA right now. He can wrestle. He can cage wrestle. He can counter wrestle. His jiu-jitsu is good. Like, I think Joe Pyfer's the goods, and you're getting him at a pretty good price. And I think it's because of the hype that was on Bruno Silva, and then Meerschaert ended that, right? And yeah, I love me some Pyfer here. Not much more to say on this one.
Okay. Next up, we've got Michelle Waterson Gomez and Luana Pinheiro. So next up, we've got Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis.
And so then next up, we have
Raul. Oh, so anyway, we got to touch on that really quickly. Gastelum trains with us, you guys. So you know me. I never talk about any of the guys I train. So Kelvin's been with us for 3 camps. We have not fought yet through those 3 camps. He was supposed to fight Imavov twice. Got injured. He hurt his knee like the week before the fight with the first Imavov. And then the second one, he got his tooth removed. Hey, Brandon. Like, you're like butterflying it over there. You're freaking me out, man. Tell Amber to calm down.
No, I'm with it. I'm here.
Where are you at? So, the last one, he got his a tooth taken out of his skull the Monday of the fight, which was horrible. It was insane. And then a couple of his other teeth were rearranged. The guy who kneed him in the face accidentally ended up in the hospital for like 2.5 weeks, had full-on sepsis, had staph in his leg, had 10 or 15 bags of IVs, almost lost his leg. That was wild. Now? Yeah, man, Sir is back training, and he was supposed to fight, and like the day of weigh-ins or something just last weekend, the guy pulled out, like no-showed or something like that, pulled out something. But yeah, man, Sir is a talent of talents, man. Like, that dude is unbelievable, but freak accident. So anyway, Kelvin's fighting. We're going to Miami. I leave on Thursday, kind of a late head out just because I have a lot of other stuff going on. Anyway, so that's Kelvin. And then next up, of course, after that, we have Raul Rosas Jr. and C-Rod, who Christian moved back to Wisconsin. However, he trained with us for a while. He's our boy. You're good friends with him. I love C-Rod. Anything you want to say? Just quick touch on this before we're out, or what?
Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. Yeah, C-Rod is like a really close personal friend. He's probably one of my best friends, and him moving away was a big bummer for me. Now, I'll say, everyone's discounting him in this one and talking about his takedown defense. Let's chat about it really quick. Do you want to touch on JSP's wrestling?
JSP's wrestling is, 1, it's very good, but 2, he's tall, he's big, and he's wiry. So you think you're going to be able to defend things going with JP. And it's like, okay, I'm good here. I'm good here. And then all of a sudden he just hangs on you and drags you down and does stuff that he shouldn't be able to do. And then you'll take him down. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, why am I on my back? I took him down. Like I won that exchange and he got 2 points for the takedown. And so he's really hard to deal with. C-Rod fought him a weight class up on like a week notice. So,
and he wasn't training at all, and he was fat for that fight.
Yep.
So he held his own in that fight. Contender series fight, he defended every takedown from Junior Cortez, who also trains with us, and 2-time state champion, has been training MMA forever. The takedown defense looked great there. And then everyone's going to point to the Weems fight. Well, Weems took him down. Yeah, it's because C-Rod was trying to knock his fucking head off. He didn't care about takedowns. And C-Rod knows his jiu-jitsu is really good. So let me say this, because chatting with people on Twitter, and they're like, oh, Rosas is going to submit him. I'm a pretty credentialed guy. I came into this from the jiu-jitsu world. I'm won Pan Ams twice, Nationals 3 times, Nogi Worlds a couple times. Like, I've done mine, and then I've trained with you for almost a decade now, literally almost 10 years, and you've instilled everything in me. You've taught me how to cage wrestle. You've taught me MMA jiu-jitsu. I think I can hold my own against most people in this world. And I wrestle. Actually, Raul wrestles just like me. He's a very good cage wrestler. I will say that. I've trained with C-Rod a lot. And I have trained with people that have trained with both Raul and myself and said that I'm a way better version of Raul. So C-Rod's got a good look with me and with a lot of people. I mean, he did well sparring at Fight Ready. C-Rod is good. He's talented. He seems to slow the fight down to his pace. He doesn't worry. He keeps composure in every spot, every position, and he breaks people down. His grappling is no joke. Like, there's been times where he pissed me off because he's dominating me on the ground, or he'll catch me in a submission. He's very talented in jiu-jitsu. He's got very, very heavy, very good hips. And if Raul's not getting him down round 1, then that's a live bet for Christian right away.
Yeah. All I'll say is, just since we know him so well, and the only reason I'm going to say anything is just because he's not with us. He didn't do camp, so I don't feel too bad talking about it because he wasn't with us, is that if he shows up in shape and like he had a good camp and his weight cut was good and like the C-Rod that we know shows up, he's going to kill Rosas. I like C-Rod actually by submission. I think he's actually going to submit Rosas.
He's sneaky, man. He is good.
So, take that with a grain of salt, guys. He's somebody who's trained with us for a while. Love him. He didn't train with us for this camp, moved back home. So that's why I'll only say that. I'm not going to go into detail with stuff, but, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Love me some C-Rod.
We're biased,
hopefully,
of course.
100%. Hopefully he pulls this off and, kind of upsets. This is what they think is a tee-up spot for Rosas to look good on a pay-per-view card. And hopefully it backfires on him.
Yeah, everyone's trying to play the narrative card in this fight, and they're like, "Well, if they saw a future in C-Rod, they wouldn't be putting him in the spot." And I'm like, "Okay, I understand that, but C-Rod's good. Like, listen to the way Paul Felder talks about C-Rod on Contender Series. I'm surprised Paul Felder didn't get into the matchmakers there and be like, whoa, are you guys sure you want to give Rosas this guy? I mean, they could have given him Guido Canetti. They could have given him a lot of other guys, and they gave him C-Rod, which I think was a big mistake. And who knows? Maybe this fight is." Like, I think C-Rod is going to make this fight closer. He's gonna win pretty decisively.
Yeah. So, all right. Next up, we have Kevin Holland, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Man, we've got an old guy and a guy who is an idiot. like for as good as Holland is he is he one of the most frustrating guys you've ever seen fight? Because you see, who was it that he's like talking to Khabib during the fight? And you're like, man, and Khabib's like, dude, you better focus on the fight. You're losing right now.
Was that against Brunson?
It might have been against Brunson. And you're like, dude, Kevin Holland is really good. It's dropped to 170. He looks faster. He doesn't look as like frail compared to these guys like Brunson and, these massive humans grabbing him. Moves well. He's slick. He knows how to win. He knows how to win fights. And you see him, we talk about Peter Yan all the time, kind of calculating. I don't know if Holland does that to that extent, but he regularly will lose the first part of a round or even the first round. And then he just finds his rhythm, finds it, figures it out, and finds a way to win. I thought he was doing great against Stephen Thompson coming up. I thought he won round 1 and 2. I thought he was winning about halfway through round 3 before Stephen started kind of turning the tables. Round 4, of course, I mean, we saw what happened there, but if that was a 3-round fight, I think Kevin Holland won 2-1. So this is only a 3-round fight against Ponzinibbio. I think he does a lot of good stuff. And then on the other side of that, Ponzinibbio, who is just an old vet dude who has been around forever. And the dude is really good. But one of the things that made him really good was his toughness. And we don't want that. It wasn't like he was like super, super, super slick. I think he slowed down a little bit. And I think those big first of all, he's shorter. And Ponzinibbio does really well against shorter people or people his height, that he can kind of fight with them as they're punching, he's punching. We saw that with Morono, where Morono was kind of getting the better of him in these weird, awkward Morono exchanges. And then Ponzinibbio would punch with him and he could find it. And Holland does not keep the best distance. He is not, for as long as he is with like an 82-inch reach, he really lets people get on the inside quite a bit. That said, he also throws a lot cleaner punches than Ponzinibbio. And not always. I mean, he will throw straight punches, but then a lot of stuff, it almost reminds me of Izzy, how he's almost like rocking back and throwing, like, right? Like kind of
weird
rocking.
Angles.
But that's the thing almost that makes him good is he doesn't just throw these punches that are going to hit arms. It's like, oh, it's about to hit an arm and then he'll angle it and move it and go. We saw it against Thompson where he had a clinch, threw an elbow, and instead of just letting go, saw, oh, that landed. I'm going to throw a couple more and then finish with the uppercut. Like he finds these punches. I really like Holland here to win. He's got a granite chin. I thought he was doing great against Wonder Boy, who's a really hard guy to fight. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's a moron in terms of just frustrating. He's not even a moron. He's frustrating. He's a guy with a lot of talent that could probably be a top 10, top 5 type of guy if he would actually focus and not do dumb shit. I don't know if he's ever going to do that. And so you just have this really good, really talented kid who's going to do dumb shit and lose a lot of fights that he shouldn't. But I like him here.
He's almost like a Miguel Baeza kind of type, like where he's just so talented and he's got so many skills. And there's just one thing that's holding him back. And I don't think Baeza is it's his IQ. It's more so his chin, but same kind of thing. Just ultra talented, could be really, really good. I don't think there's much more to say. You know, Ponzinibbio was losing to Alex Morono. I had a lot of money on Ponzinibbio in that fight, and thank God it ended up working out. But man, it wasn't looking good, and I think Holland is 10 times the fighter that Morono is in terms of skill, athleticism. Honestly, his jiu-jitsu is really good. I think his wrestling is getting good. Honestly, I'm pretty upset at that Khamzat fight because I think if Holland's able to eventually get out of that, I think he comes back to win that fight because I think Khamzat gave almost everything he had on that one little transition there. So that was a bummer to see that play out, but I think Holland's rounding out his skills. Striking comes from crazy angles. Ponzi's old. It's hard to escape Father Time, and he's just got those crazy looping punches, and he's just not what he used to be. And who knows if he even used to be that amazing or if it was just a product of the time. So, yeah, I think Kevin Holland's going to be one of the better spots on this card. Him and Big Daddy Pyfer, that's a good little twosome.
I like it. All right, we're creeping up, man. We've got Rob Font and Adrian Yanez. Tell us about that. This is a good fight. Regardless of who wins, I'm actually excited for this fight, separate from betting and picks and this and that. This is actually this and then, of course, the next fight, Gilbert Burns and Masvidal. Those are the two fights that, as a fan, I just want to see.
Yeah, for me, honestly, too, it's Kelvin and Chris Curtis. I love watching both those guys fight, so that's a good one for me to watch too. I can't wait.
As a fan, I would love. As a fan, I would love to see that fight. But that will do. I hate cornering. I hate MMA. I hate all of it. I do it because I'm good at it. And I'm not going to enjoy a single moment of that fight while I'm there in the corner. It's like it's a job. You got to win. If I would love to watch that fight from home on television, but I'll be there in the corner handling shit.
Wait, what the hell? Sorry, I'm looking at my Bet Online account, and I put in a good play on Joaquin Buckley. And the fight is not canceled and never even got announced, but they listed a line for it. Bullshit.
What is that?
It's supposed to be Michael Chiesa and Joaquin Buckley.
Oh, is that who was going to replace?
Yeah, but then they pulled it from the card. It's not even showing up on Tapology. So is this fight canceled? Because they haven't refunded my bet yet, and that's kind of bullshit. I'm pissed about that one.
Interesting.
Anyways.
All right, Rob Font, Adrian Yanez.
I love this fight, and I want to keep this short. I feel so bad for you guys if you guys like hearing us talk and ramble on, because the show was really good, and we went in depth.
It was a good one.
All of these.
Way more technical details than we're giving now, but whatever.
Yeah. We want to get back to go to sleep. I love both of these guys. You know, Rob Font is everything that we look for in a fighter. He does everything well. Again, one of the few guys that actually uses a jab, and he's got a very clean jab. Now, you know, the chin issues, and I hate relying on somebody's chin issues to bet against them, because more often than not, whenever you think their chin is going to fail, it doesn't, and then you end up losing your bet counting on their chin to go out, right? And we've seen that in so many fights. Like you're counting on the fight not going the distance, or this guy winning inside the distance, and it never plays out that way. So I don't want to rely on that. We just have to look at skill for skill and what's going to happen. I do like Rob Font, but man, do I love the way that Yanez presses people. I love the way that he pulls and he counters. He is a clean boxer, a clean striker. I really do like his kicks. Man, Yanez is game. Now, you brought up something earlier, and I think this is a really good point too. Yanez is small. Yanez is like my height, but probably skinnier than me. Like, he could definitely make 25 if he really put his mind to it. And Font is filled out. Font's a big guy. He's a good size 35er. He's not small by any means.
I have got to interrupt. I saw Kelvin Cater and Rob Font at a CFFC fight with Casey Tanner. And we were looking at Rob Font, and that dude was my size. And then Kelvin Cater was like the size of a 170-pounder. Those two were massive. So, like, he is a big human being. So continue, but he is big.
Yeah, so apparently, guys, I was downplaying it, just what the size difference is going to be. I love the way that Yanez puts 3, 4, 5 pieces together. I think his hands are so clean, and he's down to throw the fuck down. I'm going to go Yanez in this spot. But honestly, guys, I think this is a spot I don't even want to put a bet on it. Like, if you're trying to choose a good side, the side probably is Rob Font as a value bet, because he really is that talented, and there is a big size discrepancy. But I like me some Yanez. I think Yanez is going to get the W here.
What are the odds on this one?
Let's see. Oh, geez. Sorry, I scrolled off the page.
No worries.
Find out what the hell's going on.
Pull those up when you get a chance.
Okay, I got it right here.
Okay, what is it?
Let's see. Rob Font is plus 160, and Adrian Yanez is minus 185.
Okay, so the thing with Yanez is, well, first of all, actually, let's go with Font. You talked about his jab. He's got a great jab, but he also has really good forward pressure. He'll switch stances when he needs to. He doesn't really check kicks a lot, but you'll see him kind of like, for lack of a better term, eat them well. And I don't even mean like he's just eating the kicks, but he'll switch his stance. He'll kind of crowd. He moves away. He moves in a way that he's not overly worried about the low kicks, which, as weird as that sounds, like, for not actually addressing the low kicks, he doesn't really get kicks a lot. And we haven't seen an issue with low kicks for his stance, because he's in such a boxing heavy lead leg stance so much. Oddly enough, it works out. But the thing with him is he'll press a lot too. He's got big hands, and his volume. We saw his volume with Chito. I mean, he was throwing 100 plus punches for the first couple of rounds, and he was landing 40, 50 punches a round, which is insane. And same thing I said about Holland, I'll say about the Chito Font. If that was a 3-round fight, I think Font wins that. I thought he won round 1. I thought he won round 2. I thought he was winning round 3 up until the 3 or the 4 minute mark, whatever it was. Not by anything crazy, but I thought, okay, this is a Font round. And then Chito blasted him and, hurt him pretty badly. Definitely give that round to Chito. But he'll also wrestle. Font will always wrestle. Will also wrestle and at least level change. Jiu-jitsu is good. That's Font. Yanez, his thing is he loves to press as well. He is right in your face, but he doesn't throw going forward. He's right in your face, and he kind of feints, tries to draw you in, and then, of course, he pulls and then counters, and he'll counter with 3, 4, 5 punches. regularly. But he'll also, what he does, and I love this about his striking, he'll pull and he throws 3, 4, 5 punches, and then he'll kind of do a quick reset and then throw again. And you don't see that often. You see that in boxing, which is pretty standard par for the course. In MMA, we don't see people stringing separate combinations together like that. Yanez punches well. He kicks well, but he doesn't kick a lot. And I'd like to see him actually kick more. But the thing that I think Font is going to win, and the a couple of things. One, Yanez doesn't shell up the way that Chito does, and so we saw that with Font where he's throwing a lot, but Chito wasn't really eating a ton of those badly, and his face wasn't marked up. Whereas Yanez kind of pulls and flows around. He tries to like evade a lot of the punches. I think him trying to evade that jab and double jab, he's going to miss the first one, and then that second punch is going to end up finding him. And he's a little bit more square. And when people pressure Yanez, he doesn't fight well. He likes to be the aggressor. He likes to be the aggressor, push the pace, push the distance, pull and beat people up. But when you press Yanez, he'll back up and he doesn't do as well. I think Rob Font is going to press Yanez. I think he's going to jab him. And I think we're going to see a Chito Aldo situation here where we think we're going to get a striking battle, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Rob Font mix in his wrestling and his cage work quite a bit. And if he does, I think he gets Yanez to the ground. I think he can just be big on him. And I think all things considered, especially if it's a close fight, that type of game plan is going to win him the fight.
That would be such a good idea for him to wrestle. That's why I want to kind of sit out, because I think there's so many variables on. It's just like, how are they going to fight? If it's toe to toe, then I think it's anybody's game, and I'm probably going to just err on the side of the younger guy. But if Font wrestles, if Font shows the full repertoire, I mean, man, Font's good. He really is good.
He really is. Both these guys are good. And you got to look at who Font has fought his last couple fights. Chito, who, man, has been on a tear lately. And, Aldo, who is so freaking good. He just kind of has stopped fighting so well in his later years. Not even fighting well, but just his cardio kind of killed him and some other things. But anyway, I like Font here. I like him for the win. Co-main event time. Gilbert Burns, George Masvidal in Miami. Now, what is Masvidal? Oh, gosh, I hate that we have the fight kits, the UFC fight kits. I want to see George Masvidal walk out in like the most Miami Cuban suit ever, whatever that is. I don't know what it is, but yeah, but Masvidal knows what it is. Man, that's all I want to see. So anyway,
some Gucci robe or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be so much cooler than what the UFC is going to come out with. Hey, speaking of Gucci robes and Versace, what's your thought on the WWE UFC merger?
I don't even know what that means. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't have an opinion. I wish I could give you something. I have no opinion on it. I don't know. I don't understand.
Really? They're the same company now, basically, in a nutshell.
And what does that change?
I don't know if it changes anything. No, I actually think it does change a little something. I think we're going to see cross promotions. I think we're going to see some wrestlers coming over from WWE, doing some commentary, being on the screen, on the scene, a lot of cross promotions and stuff like that. I think we're going to see people like Ronda Rousey back in the UFC booth doing some commentary and talking, especially if there's a big women's fight coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to see some UFC fighters cameo into the WWE. I don't know that it is going to necessarily make a lot of money for anyone, especially fighters at the lower end. But I think there's going to be a lot of cross promotions, and I think you're going to start to see a lot of the personalities blend into at the higher level of both sports. So it's kind of interesting to see that. And I've never really been a big pro wrestling fan. I'm not against it or anything. I'm just not. I haven't been that guy.
You're against gay marriage, but not against WWE.
Exactly. Trump all the way. Trump 2024, 2028. The indictment is wrong. Anyway,
we need a recount still.
We still need a recount. Gilbert Burns, George Masvidal. I think this fight is way closer.
Can I take this one?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Because I was saving all my energy for tonight for just this one fight because we got done with the pod and you picked Gilbert earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
you and Cole, you both go, I don't know, man. The way that you were talking about it, like, whew, we might be on the Masvidal train now. I like Masvidal here. I think the line is insane for the two skill sets that we see. Right, the last couple fights that Masvidal's had, he's going against the best guys in the world. He's going against Usman, Juiceman, and you got Colby Covington, EPO. Right, it's and he's showing a good account for himself. He's defending takedowns. He's doing a lot of good things in these fights. Like, just he's competing with the best of the best. He's an old man. He's still competing with the best guys in the world. Gilbert, I love Gilbert. I've been a big fan of Gilbert for a long time, all the way from jiu-jitsu, all the way up to the UFC. He has come such a long way. He's got a great low kick, great jab. His striking is leveled up times a million. His jiu-jitsu obviously is excellent, and he can learn how to wrestle. He's complete. He's the man. He's good. The fact that this line is what it is insane to me. George Masvidal has really good takedown defense. His boxing is crisp. It's clean. Man, the guy's got all the skills in the world. I really think he's good. People want to talk about the jiu-jitsu and, oh, George is going to get submitted. He went with Damian Maia, who's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in MMA ever, period. And I know the styles are very different between Gilbert Burns and Damian Maia, but either way, it's still high-level jiu-jitsu, and he showed he can hang bar for bar with every one of these guys. Beat Stephen Thompson, who we just saw him put a beat down on Kevin Holland. Like, he is going skill for skill with all of these guys who are masters at their crafts, and he is right there with every single one of them. What happens if Gilbert can't take him down? Now we're talking about 100% a striking match, and it's Gil's jab and his low kick versus Masvidal's combinations in this boxing. I'm going to take Masvidal. I like Masvidal here in Miami, in his home city. He's been training with Johnny Eblin and Grant Dawson all the time for this fight. That's who his main sparring partners are. Man, I think I have to go Masvidal here, and it might be a decent sized play for me.
Okay. It's funny you watch both these guys striking, and one thing that they both do is they're both orthodox fighters, and they both will switch stance regularly, and then as they switch stance, they throw lead hooks off of it. So they're both right hand dominant in the back. They step forward, throw their right hands. Masvidal's is just infinitely better. It's just infinitely cleaner. Go back and watch a lot of the tape, and Burns does it, and it looks clunky and it looks loopy. And then Masvidal does it, and it is just crisp, and he comes in and he fires it. The other thing that he'll do with that is when he steps forward with that right hand is he'll fire that left middle kick, which if Burns starts level changing as he's doing it, he's going to run right into a knee or right into a middle kick right there. And of course Masvidal's jab. I think at one point, I don't know if I'd still say, I wouldn't say it now. Masvidal's clean boxing from when we saw him earlier in his career has kind of turned more into a kickboxing, style not like horribly, but it's just slid off a little bit. But I used to love his high guard. I used to love that lead jab, or jab of his. He's a little bit more kick heavy now than he used to. Not like he didn't kick before, but his stance has changed and his jab isn't quite what it was. Burns' striking is good. It's fine, serviceable. I think it's good. And then of course his pressure, his power, all of that good stuff. Where I still don't know that I can get behind Masvidal's. If we knew that, and this is where what you talked about with Miami, if he goes out there and he pushes the pace and pushes the fight, I think Masvidal can absolutely win this. But what we've seen lately is he comes out, he kind of settles, and he lets other people dictate the fight. And other people are he's almost like trying to not get taken down while finding his strikes instead of going full send on his strikes, going, I'm okay if you try to take me down, I'm confident enough. And if he were to go out there and just strike his ass off and just throw, I'm not worried about him getting taken down or submitted. He's good enough, but he doesn't. He just hesitates a little bit. He hesitates, he waits, and he's waiting to defend. And that alone, I think, is going to take away his own offense. I think if these two fought in the gym, sparred in the gym, I think Masvidal wins, 8 out of 10 times. In a fight where he's a little bit more cautious, and he if he plays it safe, it's going to kill him. And I'm not sure that Burns is going to get a takedown. And if he does, I'm not sure that he can hold him down. But what I think he's going to do, and we saw it against Stephen Thompson, is he's going to find him like we saw with Thompson, and he's going to shoot. And if he doesn't get the takedown, he's going to hold him against a cage. And then it comes down to is him throwing and pushing Masvidal on the cage, and Masvidal's kind of content to be on the cage, almost like a little bit of Kevin Holland in there, a little bit of arrogance, like, hey guys, look, nothing's happening. I'm looking around like, hey, whatever. And it's like, dude, get the F off the cage and fight. And I think if Masvidal went out in there and just threw the fuck down, he wins this fight. But does he? And for that, I've got to lean Burns, but I think this is a really close fight. I think the line is stupid as shit. I could absolutely see Masvidal clipping. I don't think it's going to be a clean KO. I think if anything, he'll kind of clip him, rock him, TKO him, something like that. But then I could also see Burns kind of Burnsing and just pressing, pushing, dictating the fight. And that alone, I think I've got to kind of lean Burns on this. And I want to. We talked about it earlier. I love Masvidal. He's one of my favorite fighters. I would not be surprised to see him win. I think the pressure of Burns is going to be the deciding factor.
All right. I mean, he's training with Johnny Eblin, and that's Mr. Pressure right there.
Well, yeah, but training is different than fighting. And I think Eblin is 100. I think that's the perfect guy to be training with. We heard that, and then we heard Grant Dawson. And I'm going, man, I love that. It has nothing to do with skill set. It has everything to do with the mindset of people of like, you take a guy who's just not like, you want to use a good example of this, and it's a bad example lately, but if you look at guys like Donald Cerrone in his prime, he was going out there swinging on people because he didn't care about being taken down because he knew he had really good jiu-jitsu. So he's like, all right, do it. Take me down. I'll submit you. And that's the type of attitude I want to see out of a good striker who the one submission loss he has to Toby Amata in 07, 8, 9, something like that, a crazy inverted triangle. He's going with all of these good wrestlers. He's good grapplers. He's good everything with Usman, with Colby, and he's defending takedowns. He's getting back up. All of it. I love it. But he's not fighting. He's fighting defensively, and he is letting the other people dictate the pace. And if he were to go out there and just guns blazing and go, I'm good. I know if we turn it into a grappling affair, I'm good. Man, I'd choose him every freaking day of the week, but he doesn't. And that just decision-making and the way that he fights worries me. And not to the point where I think the line is correct, because I think Burns gets over-aggressive on some of those takedown shots on the cage. We see Masvidal slide away and clip him with a short right hand off of it or a knee. It's in the book. All right, you could see it, but if we're picking fights here, I gotta lean Burns.
All right, that all leads us to the main event of the evening.
That it does. If you guys haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the YouTube channel and comment too. Don't be shy. We'll respond. All right, give us
to the Patreon, the Discord, the YouTube, Spotify, iTunes.
All of it. Keep going. Yes. Keep going. My kids were Googling me today. I don't even know why. And they saw that one of my UFC cards. And so then Enzo was like, well, where are you here and there and this and that? So anyway, I Googled my name to see like what else came up, with Enzo. And there was a podcasting host site, Blueberry or something like that our podcast is on, that I didn't even know. Like, I don't even know how it's on some random site, whatever. Like, anyway, if you guys are listening to us on Blueberry,
we're famous now. We're famous in the streets.
Yeah, like us there too, or subscribe, or whatever the hell you do on a Blueberry. So anyway, we've got Alex Pereira, Izzy Adesanya. The only question I care about, does he go 0-4?
Nope, I don't think so. Not a chance. I'm going to load the boat. Guys, I'm tired, so I'm going to make this one super quick. We said 45 minutes. We're already at an hour, so
shit.
We're giving you overtime. But no, I mean, Izzy wins every fight until he doesn't. And I just, similar to the Rob Font, like how many times can we count on Pereira to dig from the depths and throw a Hail Mary and end up getting this, right? One of the fights he was knocked out on his feet, round ended, came back and ended up winning the fight. The next fight, he was losing the entire fight, caught the KO, wins. The MMA fight was losing the entire fight. We were like a more lenient referee away from a unanimous decision for Izzy, right? He was cruising to a win, and I don't think it was a bad stoppage by any means. Pereira won fair and square, but we're one more missed punch or 3 seconds longer on the clock from Izzy winning the MMA fight. If we're getting conspiratorial here, why would the UFC want Pereira to win? Who's he going to fight next? Robert Whittaker, Marvin Vettori. Does he win either of those fights? Probably not. But a trilogy in MMA with Izzy, 1-1, marketable, that history, man, that's great buildup. That's great everything. Izzy at -137 for the guy who's more agile, way better cardio, honestly a lot more skills. The only thing that he really lacks is the power and the just that knockout power. I'm going to take Izzy all day. Maybe I'm an idiot for trying again, but I got to go the guy who's just been winning almost all the fights.
No, you're wrong. There's one other thing that Izzy lacks, and that's just like focus and humbleness. Or he's winning these fights so much against Pereira, and then he just loses focus his last, like right at the end. Like what? It's almost like he's doing so well that he's like, I'm good. I just have to hurry up and there's a couple minutes left on the clock. Let me just like whatever, and then he gets caught. I think we're going to see a boring fight. I think we're going to see Izzy play tag quite a bit. I think he's going to avoid the clinch because I thought that's where Pereira had kind of some of the – I think Izzy initiated the clinch quite a bit, thinking that he would win there, and I think he did not win the way that he thought he would. I think his team is a good, smart team. I think we're going to see a somewhat of a Yoel Romero-Izzy fight where Izzy's standing there a lot and moving and trying to juke him out and playing tag a little bit and doing enough to win rounds. And maybe, I don't know, because I don't know Izzy's offensive wrestling skill set, if he has the ability to do it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Izzy shoot or try to shoot and come up on the back of Pereira a little bit. Maybe just to like make him think and ride the clock out a little. I think it's going to be a pretty one-sided affair with Izzy, as long as he doesn't fall asleep the last minute of a fight that he's winning and get knocked out going to the nether region. So, yeah, I like Izzy. I think Pereira's good. He's got dinosaur bones. He hits hard. He draws people in. But, I think especially in MMA that the movers generally win. And if Izzy just doesn't stand there and trade with him, I don't know how Pereira wins. Pereira, and again, don't get me wrong, you guys. I think Pereira's great. He's very good. But somebody who's as tall as him, kind of equal resume as him in terms of kickboxing, in MMA, the guy who's going to move and not be there and trade punches, I think is going to win over the guy who's in the Muay Thai stance, hoping that the other guy trades with him. So I like Izzy here for a decision. For a boring decision win.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this card. It should be a good one.
Although, of course, I talk about like hating cornering and doing stuff like that, I kind of kid. But I actually am glad we're going to Miami. That's a fun town. Miami's a fun town. You're wearing a Miami shirt and 32 gold necklaces. So you should be going to my. Do you want a corner?
I'll book a flight tonight.
Done. All right, you guys. Sorry for the weird background, low energy. Do we have low T? Is that it? I
low
do.
T, yes.
I'm 41. I've got low T. You have high T. But all right, you guys. We'll see you next time. Join the Patreon. We'll see you there.